Hello everyone, Ron here from RJJ's Reactions, and I'm back with Will Wood and the next track on the Normal album. The song is called Well, Better Than the Alternative, and it's Will Wood and the Tapeworms. I keep forgetting to mention that, but I've really enjoyed reacting to Will Wood so far. Thank you, viewers, for letting me know about him. I enjoy his music. I enjoyed the lyrics as well, although they can be quite confusing and complicated. I don't do research ahead of time because I don't want my views to be skewed by other people. Sometimes viewers mention something and so I know a little bit about it. I haven't heard anything really about this song except a couple of people said it was their favorite, but there's always people each song, there's certain viewers, it's going to be their favorite, right? So every individual will have their own favorites, or sometimes you can't pick a favorite. You just like the artist or the album so much that it's difficult to do so. I know I've had trouble in the past. Someone says, "What's your favorite song on such and such an album?" And um, it's like, well, and I'll pick one, and then I think, well, yeah, but that one too, and then that one, and without all of them, they don't go together, right? So it's kind of hard to do that. Just before we will look at the lyrics separately. I pulled them up, so we'll have a look at the lyrics afterwards, in case I don't understand them throughout the song. But with Will Wood's lyrics, what I found so far anyway, is there's quite a lot there, so it would be hard to pick it out, and I don't want to stop too many times throughout the music. So we'll have a look at those afterwards. The closed captioning often doesn't work. I wonder if I should even try it. My guess is it won't work on a Will Wood song, but we'll see. Um, just before I head into the music, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, that helps the channel a lot. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed and liked videos, shared videos, donated to the channel. You can see how to do that in the description, or bumped up your request in the description. There's an easy way. Just buy me a coffee and you get your request within days rather than weeks or months on the regular list, which is just really long. So if you're patient, no worries. All right, let's have a listen. Well, better than the alternative. We've heard that expression, all of us, haven't we?
Help.
Did he say help?
Help.
Yep. Nice.
Pink lemonade on autumn bomber coats, Peter Pan collars, but my daughter's growing up. She's gonna be a lot like me, but I don't wanna be at all like me. Yellow buzz cuts and I'm pulling out stingers. You're telling me I'm holding up 11 fingers, and stranger things than death can happen to lab rat girls and pretty white rabbits. But everybody knows that, nobody knows that, everybody's in on everybody's business. This isn't my first Christmas. I know mistletoe when I see it.
Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. Don't worry. I won't stop too often. I kind of like this as a little bit more intimate than and less produced maybe than some of the others that I've done, and we can get to see him here, so that's kind of cool. And the keyboarding's great. Uh, and I really like his voice too. The lyrics, the CC seems to be working fairly well, but as I say, they're a little bit complicated to just stop every few lines or couple lines to try and sort out what's going on. So I'm probably going to just wait until the end and we'll go through them separately.
11 fingers, and stranger things than death can happen to lab rat girls and pretty white rabbits. But everybody knows that, nobody knows that, everybody's in on everybody's business. This isn't my first Christmas. I know mistletoe when I see it. Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how I'm right for you? Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how I'm right for you? Alright, or wrong, alright, or wrong. alright, oh wrong, alright. Cigarette and burns, laugh lines, wide dimples. If they could see the future back when times were simple, would they kiss your cheek or yank the bandage off? Let you speak or take advantage of how if everyone's sick, well then nobody can catch it. And if everybody's different, then nobody can match. I'm looking through the pockets of the hand-me-downs I laid out, wondering if I fit into the yesterdays I've laid out. Everybody knows that, nobody knows that. Everybody's in on my motherfucking business. This isn't my first kiss. It's better to be loved than lost now, isn't it? Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And if we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how I'm right for you? Oh, baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me how?
Back up again. We'll listen to the keyboarding here. It's very, very good at piano slash keyboard here.
Tell me how. Walking bikes home with a scraped knee, sunset smudged across your brow. Warmer tears than you've grown used to since then. A toast to the nosebleed seats in the big dream sequence where you're found guilty of your innocence and gently sent right back to bed. Everybody knows that, nobody knows that. Everybody's in on my goddamn business. This isn't my first anything. This isn't my first anything. Everybody knows that, nobody knows that. Everybody's in on everybody's business. This isn't my first lyric. I know exactly how I should finish it. Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And if we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how I'm right for you? Oh, baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And if we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me, baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And if we find out what's wrong with me, oh, could you tell me how I'm right for you? Oh, baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be alright with you? And if we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me how?
Beautiful. Nice.
Rest in peace.
Do you say rest in peace then? Let's play that again.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Okay. Peace out. Very good. Let me back up a little bit. Excellent. Yes, lots to go through with the lyrics. I may not make a lot of sense out of them, but I'll do my best. I cut the CC worked relatively well. It didn't, I think, mess up on some words, but um, fairly good. And you could understand most of what he was saying. When I say understand, you knew the words he was saying. Whether you knew why he was saying them is another story, maybe. But yeah, very good. Really, really nice to just see Will Wood and his keyboard, and like I say, a much more intimate sort of setting here. And I thought he did an excellent job. He said help at the beginning, but he did fine. And then at the end, rest in peace. So I'm not sure. I think I'm still alive. But anyway, we'll try to have a peaceful day. But before I do that, I'm going to have a look at the lyrics. If you're not sticking around for the lyrics, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check in the description, go to Will Wood's channel and subscribe there. like the video if you did, but I hope you'll stick around for the lyrics. I'll try to be relatively brief and see if I can extract some meaning out of that. All right, let's go. All right, here we are. Well, Better Than the Alternative by Will Wood. Hmm. I'm gonna have to think about the title here. Pink lemonade on autumn bomber coat. It's Peter Pan collars, but my daughter's growing up. She's gonna be a lot like me, but I don't want to be at all like me. So I caught that at the beginning. Peter Pan collars, but my daughter's growing up. So you kind of want to stay young, but you see your own child, your own daughter growing up, and she's turning into you in a way, in some ways at least. And but you don't even want to be you. So it's like maybe there's a certain amount of fear there. There's a certain amount of trepidation that um, I don't want my children to be like me because I have difficulty with myself. I have difficulty with who I am, or at least who I am in up here, and the issues I'm dealing with, I don't want someone else to inherit those. Maybe, I don't know. Yellow buzz cuts pulling out stingers. You're telling me I'm holding up 11 fingers, and stranger things than death can happen to lab rat girls and pretty white rabbits. But everybody knows that nobody knows that everybody's in on everybody's business. Okay. Yellow buzz cuts. That just reminds me of summer haircuts back in the day when uh, horror be horrors if a boy's hair got any longer than a buzz cut. But that could just be me. Maybe he means something else there. Pulling out stingers just reminds me of summertime bees or whatever. Um, you're telling me I'm holding up 11 fingers and stranger things than death can happen. Worse things than death can happen. Um, yeah, I guess stranger too, but certainly worse than death. 11 fingers. Well, I joke around with my students that I have 11 fingers and do my little trick that try to convince them. Of course, they have to be pretty young to get fooled by that. But to lab rat girls and pretty white rabbits, but everybody knows that nobody knows that everybody's in on everybody's business. That's a little confusing. Certainly, and I know, he sang about the suburbs and things, and certainly seems like everybody knows everybody's business, but often what people know in quotation marks about people's business is not a knowledge, it's a rumor or gossip. So maybe that's what these lines are meaning. I'm not exactly sure. This isn't my first Christmas. I know mistletoe when I see it. Yeah, good old mistletoe. Kissing under the mistletoe, a bit of a odd uh, tradition. Not sure. Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be all right with you? And when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how I'm right for you? And so, again, just from the beginning, I'm thinking he's talking to his daughter rather than somebody else. But then again, maybe not. Maybe there was a twist that I missed there. But um, yeah, and is there something wrong with you, or is it just that you think there might be something wrong with you? You know, and could you tell me how I'm right for you? So maybe I'm a good father after all. I don't know. And um, when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how? Could you tell me how, and if I'm still pretty? Cigarette burns, laugh lines, wide dimples. If they could see the future back when times were simple, would they kiss your cheek or yank the bandage off? Um, when times were simple. I don't know what times people talk about when they say simpler times. When was the simpler times? During the Cold War, during the Korean War, during like when exactly were these simple times? I know sometimes people think it's the 50s, but some people pick other decades, and it's like I don't know. I don't think any of them were simple. People popping Valium all the time, and there's always been problems. There's always been wars. There's always been something. There's also always been good things too. I'm not a downer, but when are these simple times? And maybe that's what he's playing around here with as well. Um, yeah, lots that I could say there, but I don't want to be forever here. Would they kiss your cheek or yank the bandage off? Yeah, would they sort of be gentle with you, or just okay, it's better just to get that bandage off and let the curing begin, let the healing start. And maybe there's play here with the way things used to be handled to the way things are handled now. Let you speak or take advantage of how if everyone's sick, well, then nobody can catch it. And if everybody's different, how could anybody match? So, yeah, I think there's a play here on the different methods of, and I'm torn because I go both directions. Sometimes I think just yank it off and get on with it. You know, straighten up and move on. And other times I try to be much more gentle and, let's talk it out. But you can talk things out for 30 years and never get anywhere. That doesn't help either. So there must be a balance. There must be times when you just have to, I mean, literally, I have told even some of my older students, not my really young ones, but my older students, sometimes you just got to kick yourself in the ass and get going. I mean, that's just sometimes what you've got to do. It's okay to talk it out and get counseling and everything else, but sometimes you just got to go there. Everybody's different. How could anybody match? And we're looking through the pockets of the hand-me-downs we've laid out, wondering if we'll fit into the yesterdays we've played out. I'm not exactly sure what he means there, but if you think you can go back, I don't think you can, only in memory. And enjoy those good memories and maybe even some of the bad ones as you get older. Some of the bad ones don't seem so bad now because you have new bad ones, but yeah, but you can never really quite fit in. You can't really go back and be that person that you were. Everybody knows that nobody knows that everybody's all up in my goddamn business. This isn't my first kiss. It's better to be lost than loved. It's better to be lost than loved. Now, isn't it? I don't know about that. Baby, you could play along with me. Baby, would that be all right with you? Is it because love hurts so much, maybe? Could you tell me how I'm right for you? Baby, could you play along with me? Baby, would that be all right with you? And when we find out what's wrong with me, could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? And if I'm still pretty. Walking bikes home with a scraped knee, sunset smudged across your brow, warmer tears than you've grown used to. Since then, a toast to the nosebleed seats and the big dream sequence where you're found guilty of your innocence and gently sent right back to bed. Um, I have no idea what he's talking about here. I mean, there's certain memories here, walking bikes home with a scraped knee, blah, blah. Warmer tears than you've grown used to. Nosebleed seats, of course, you're way up at the top there, but in the big dream sequence where you're found guilty of your innocence and gently sent right back to bed. Everybody knows that nobody knows. Okay, this isn't my first anything. This isn't my first anything. Everybody knows that nobody knows that everybody's in on everybody's business. This isn't my first lyric. I know exactly how I should finish it. Baby, could you play along with me? I'm just scrolling down to some that we haven't done. Baby, would that be all right with you after all of that's been done to me? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me what's so wrong about what's wrong with me? I'm just trying to do what's right by you. So this again seems to be the daughter. I think this is near the end where he got really chaotic and strong, almost yelling in a way. Um, what's so wrong about what's wrong with me? I'm just trying to do what's right by you. So it's almost like there's nothing wrong with me now. Like he's kind of flipped a little bit here to the opposite side that given what's happened to me, what would you expect? This is okay. Could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Could you tell me how? Okay. What's wrong about what's wrong with me? I'm just trying to do what's right by you. All right. I may be missing lots here, but there was something here. I think it was up a little bit further. Oh, yes, this part here. The imagery is good. Walking bikes home with a scraped knee, sunset smudged across your brow, warmer tears than you've grown used to since then. A toast to the nosebleed. See, okay, I'm not entirely sure. There's something trying to get into my brain, but and a big dream sequence where you're found guilty of your innocence and gently sent right back to bed. Again, um, I think it's a play on are you really are you really damaged goods or are you just interpreting it in that way and you're actually fine. I don't know if that's what the meaning is there, but it could be. I'm going to leave it there because if I keep trying to extract more and more, I'll be forever because I can ramble, that's for sure. I don't want to do that. Uh, well, better than the alternative. I'm not sure. Is it continuing? continuing on, choosing to live, choosing to keep going, because what is the alternative, right? My wife used to say that to a number of people. Not to me too much, but because I don't complain about getting old. I just complain about the things that happen when you get older. But I don't want to go back to being young. I don't find the past simple. I never did. To go back there, no, I don't. I have no interest in that. But there are a few things I would like: my eyesight to be a bit better, my hearing to not be going, and a few other things to not be losing ground on. But to just go back and be young again, it was hell then, and it would be hell to do it all over again. So at each stage you have good and bad, and I'm happy to keep on going. But when people complain about getting old, my wife always just say, well, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is death. So now at some point that might be a welcome thought too, but yeah, what is the alternative? You just make it work. You do the best you can, and I think you look at the positive and look at your daughter growing up, and and try your best, and you know what, maybe some parts will turn out like you, but maybe she'll interpret it differently, and maybe she'll be able to make it work better than you did. Who knows? All right, I said I wasn't going to ramble, and here I go rambling again. Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Keep listening, keep having fun. Don't forget to subscribe here, and then go to Will Wood's channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. Bye bye for now.